what is a perfect rental? And this is a perfect rental, and we're going to show you why. So we're with Chris Badea from Mastery, and if we kind of look around, right, there's a lot of properties all the way around. There's a property there, there's a property there. That's not a good rental. That property that I'm pointing to, kind of over there, that's a frame house. That's not a good rental. But on the other hand, this one is a great rental. And as we go through the house, you're going to see why. Not only it's a great house, but on top of that, the numbers on this thing work. So Chris, let's go inside and we'll figure out why we think this is a perfect deal that fits our Mastery standards. So Chris, we're in the house, right? The property is located middle of Evergreen Park, right? And why did you pick this particular layout and this property?
The one thing I like about this house is the brick exterior.
Okay.
I plan on holding on to my rental properties forever.
Okay.
So I prefer that over a frame house because down the road there's less maintenance. The structure of the house is in excellent condition. It just needs a couple cosmetic upgrades.
Right.
I'm going to paint the walls, replace underneath the carpeting. There's hardwood floors and the bedrooms.
Okay.
I'm going to refinish
And
those.
this is a 2-bedroom house?
This is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house.
Okay.
Yes. It's
And for Evergreen Park, and I want to kind of just look at the numbers really quick, right? I want to pencil out the numbers, but for Evergreen Park, I mean, this is a perfect setup. And let's kind of walk through into the kitchen. So 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and then this is kind of kitchen, and you just closed on it yesterday, right? So you haven't touched it, you haven't done anything.
No.
The refrigerator,
was left here, yes.
was here as it is. It's in great condition. So with this type of setup, typically we kind of have a format. Are you going to change the cabinets? Are you going to change all of this? What are you going to keep?
For a rental property, I'm going to keep the cabinets. I'm probably just going to change the countertop.
Only the countertops?
Only the countertops and the sink.
And the sink, and that's it?
And that's it. I may paint the cabinets or I may just wipe them down, and if they come out fine. I am going to put some nice flooring down, the vinyl flooring that simulates wood. It'll just kind of match the rest of the house and update the kitchen's look a little bit. Okay.
And now you've kind of boiled your format down to the exact format we use in Mastery, right?
Correct.
At one time, you would have gone to town with this house, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to think about leaving cabinets. I mean, the first thing I would have done is gut everything.
Right.
So I'm trying to get out of that mentality. For rental properties, it's different than for a flip.
And I noticed the roof on the garage needs to be done. So including the roof, in the basement, it's an unfinished basement.
It's unfinished basement.
Unfinished basement. A little bit of water came in, right, because of the sump pump. So there, are you going to finish the basement or are you going to just leave it?
What I'm going to do in the basement is clean it. I'm going to paint the floors and then paint the walls white, and it'll just give it a nice clean look, but I'm not going to do a full finished basement.
Okay, great. So let's go look at some of the numbers, and I think people will see why such a simple house is a perfect rental.
Right.
Chris, let's look at the numbers, right? So this is a property, this is going to be your first rental property. And with somebody like you, obviously the goal is that you want a great quality property and you want great numbers. When we talk about great numbers, what are we looking for? We're looking for some basic benchmarks. 25% equity when all is said and done, right? And we want a debt coverage ratio minimum of 1.33. That's the other number we look for. And what we also want is for you want to keep doing these property after property after property, so we want to have infinite return, ideally, right? Ideally, obviously, right? But our target number is 25% and up is what we're trying to hit, right? Based on cash return. So those are the 3 numbers that are benchmarks. Anything close to that is good. But our expectation for somebody like you is you got to have kind of climb the Mount Everest every single time, right? So let's start with the purchase price. Purchase price is how much? $98,000, right? So 98K. Rehab is how much? 25,000, right? So approximately you're in the deal for about 125, right? Plus 5 or 7 additional costs, right? So I'm just going to put additional here. Additional costs. So you're into that property for 132. Now here's the key question. If you sold this property for retail, fixed up, for a flip, what does something like this sell for in Evergreen Park?
This would probably go for close to 180 to 185.
180 to 185. So we're going to say, we're going to be conservative. We're not going to use 180. We're going to be at, say, 155, 160. Let's say 160, we know all day long you can get that value, right? For a rental property on a refi. So you're going to get about 75% of this, so most of your money here is going to come out.
Yeah.
So very conservatively, you're going to have 125 to 127 refinanced out of the property.
Right.
And every single month, because these properties are going to rent about $1,450, $1,500. So every month you have a cash flow of about $450 or so, give or take a little bit, correct?
Right.
Right? Your debt coverage ratio at that point is going to come in at about 1.66, right? So you pass this, which is you have equity in the property, right? You pass this one because your debt coverage ratio is this, and then your cash on cash return on this property, maybe you might have $7,000 invested. I mean, I think this is a gold mine, right? You can live with that. $7,000, $8,000 invested, and you're making about $5,000 a return. I mean, that's a 70, 80% cash on cash return, right? This is a perfect rental. I mean, it doesn't get any better. Great area, great location, great rental prospects, and guess what? All the numbers hit. So officially from Mastery, congratulations.
Thank you.